Dan Heyman, senior editor at Vicarious magazine, and with me today, along with you fine folks, of course, is this. This is the 2025 Jaguar F Pace SVR 575. It is the hottest version of Jag's very high-selling SUV. It's a mid-size SUV crossover. This one has a supercharged V8 engine in it, which I love. Anything V8 is great, and a supercharged V8 is even better. This one here, being the SVR, has some neat stuff. Special wheels, red painted brake calipers. You've got the great SVR badging right here. I've got the black package here, which, since it's against a black paint job, doesn't really show all that much, but if it was against a whiter or lighter paint job, you'd see some black trim work on here as well. There's a very cool added lip to the rear spoiler as well. The front fascia is different on the SVR than every other F-Pace, and quite simply just looks awesome. Jaguar knows how to style a vehicle, whether it be a sports car like that beautiful and unfortunately dearly departed F-Type, or SUV like this. So this thing looks great, and I'll bet it drives great as well. So let's get to it. So I was going to start this review of the Jaguar F Pace SVR 575 edition, by waxing all poetic. Enjoy this while you can. V8 is going out to replace by turbocharged 6s and hybrids and all that kind of stuff. But then companies like Mercedes and BMW and most recently Stellantis with Dodge have all said, no, we're actually going to keep building V8s. Yeah, we're going to keep doing that. So they basically ruined my entire intro. Jerks. So I had to pivot. Which doesn't really take a lot, because regardless of any kind of navel gazing you want to do about the V8 in this awesome Jaguar SUV, that's what it's all about. It is absolutely incredible. I love this motor. 567 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, fed to all four wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters that are made, you can hear that, from real metal, crafted from real metal. I believe it's aluminum. I think that's awesome. 0 to 60 time, about 4 seconds, which is pretty good for what is essentially a mid-sized people mover. Okay, well, that's a little bit extreme. Of course, you can buy the F-Pace with smaller engines. I believe there's a 4-cylinder engine and a 6-cylinder you can get. Those are the more popular sellers. This is really kind of the special one, and that's fine by me. It only has 2 rows. There are some vehicles this size with a 3rd row. I don't really see the point. I mean, I guess it's good to have in a pinch, but it's pretty tight usually in a vehicle this size, that 3rd row. And let's be honest, when you're spending upwards of $110,000 on your SUV, which is how much this is, which might sound like a lot of money, but when you consider the competition from the likes of the Mercedes GLE 63 AMG or the BMW X5 or X6M, it's actually not a bad price for this F-Pace. Anyway, when you're considering a car that costs that, I don't think the 3rd row really matters, nor really does gas mileage. I was reading a review of, or fuel economy. I was reading a review on Car and Driver. They're talking about the fuel economy, and I get it. When they do their reviews, that's their format, but really, who cares? Like, nobody, I don't think anybody buying this particular F-Pace really cares about kind of fuel economy they're getting. They're great to talk about for the manufacturers, the numbers, meet CAFE standards, which might be going live soon. I guess we'll have to see what the folks down there have to say. All that kind of stuff. Sure, you got to make those claims to, you know, kind of appease the people that are evaluating your vehicle for its fuel economy. But this one here, no. I don't think fuel economy is the top of anybody's punch list. More so is obviously the engine, but also the goings on inside. There's a ton of different materials in here. You've got suede, you've got aluminum, a little bit of faux carbon. Actually, that might be real carbon here. You've even got Windsor leather. Gotta have Windsor, it's a Jag, right? Right. Fantastic. Heated steering wheel, heated and cooled front seats. Really nice feel to this wheel too. It's got that leather wrap on it. Really feels of a high quality, just like the paddle shifters behind it do. Meridian audio with 12 speakers. That's pretty good. I think Meridian rather makes really good systems. I really like them. The speakers look pretty good too. The real metal grills here. I always appreciate that. Digital gauge cluster that can be modified to show your speedometer, tachometer, your entire GPS map if you prefer. It's got all that. 11.4 inch central display here with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and wireless charging. If you'd rather plug in to charge, you've got a USB-C and a USB-A port in here. So there you go. Really nice screen. It's high quality, but I just, for some reason, it's the same screen you'll see in some other Jaguar Land Rover products that are more about the luxuriousness of them as opposed to the performance or whatever. And it works in something like a Range Rover SV or even a Land Rover Defender, for example. Here, though, it seems a little too kind of gauche, too trick. I'd rather them kind of, it's a convex display, which makes for better visibility and less glare and good responsiveness and all that, and that's fine, but I wish they could find a way to make it look a little more athletic. I'm not sure how you do that with a display, but for something about it just doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the Environs here. Maybe if they just change the graphics up a little bit, the colors or something, change the bezel, maybe give it a carbon fiber bezel, that might have made it too flashy. Maybe that would make this display look a little more fitting to the environment. I don't know. Speaking of the display, you do use it for some things you might not otherwise expect. The auto start stop, for example, you have to go through there. And I've been using that a lot because, as I talked about before, when it comes to fuel economy, auto start stop is all about saving fuel. But in a car like this, maybe that's also important. Big V8 like this with a big loud starter motor is doing start stop. It's kind of uncomfortable to drive. So I've just been like, forget it, whatever, I'll pay the gas. I just don't want to have start stop going on in this thing. So I haven't, so I've turned it off. So I'm going to this screen a lot. There it is. See, it's quite loud when it starts up. So now I'm going to turn it off. Style is one thing, but I think my biggest complaint with this infotainment system is that for some things, they don't use enough of the screen. CarPlay's okay, but the backup cam is kind of small. It's a dual pane backup cam if you want it to be, top-down view and back view and so on, but they don't use the whole display. They cut a huge amount at the bottom here. It's like letterbox. Why do that? You've got this big 11.4 inch display. Use it. Anyway, so that's the only thing. Otherwise in here, it's great. Oh, not the only thing. The other thing which I'm a little kind of put off by. Again, this is a vehicle that's really very much about performance, maybe less so about creature comforts or where you can store stuff. There isn't a lot of storage. You've got a fairly deep but very small opening here to the central console. There's no underfloor storage back there. This has a full-size spare, which is not something you see a lot of these days, especially in the performance car world. They are heavier, they take up room, more and more are going to inflator kits for that. So I got a full-size spare back there, which I don't love. I do have more cargo space here than I do in Porsche Macan, for example, but there's no underfloor, which kind of bugs me. There's nothing in the side except for a little mesh kind of basket, sort of. In here, I have slight door pockets here, but I don't even know if I'd be able to fit my average size Yeti. Yeah, that fits okay. That actually fits okay, so there you go. But you can't fit much
kind of wide stuff in there, and the glove box is somewhat shallow. So not hugely great for interior storage, but I guess would affect the road trip ability of this F Pace. But while I do complain about the bins in the doors and the glove box and all that kind of stuff, there's a couple things here that I really like. For one, since it's an electronic shifter, if not all the shift linkage underneath, there's storage underneath the center console here. I like that. And in the back here, I've got a 40-20-40 split folding rear seat. That means if you want to bring longer items along with you, skis, hockey sticks, whatever, you don't have to sacrifice an entire full-size outboard seat to do so. So if you want to keep your child seats installed, you can still fold down the middle part and put longer items through. Big fan. Maybe I'm just picking a few nits here because the F Pace is a huge seller for Jaguar. It is their biggest seller by whatever more than a country mile is. I don't know, a desert mile, I don't even know. Like it's their biggest seller. So obviously they're doing the storage stuff isn't bothering too many people. I did have my 7-year-old daughter back here in her booster seat. She was comfortable. Entrance and egress for her was fine, and so that was good too. So you've got all that covered. But that's really it. Otherwise, I love sitting in here. Seating position is good. Nice big kind of humps around the 9 and 3 o'clock positions on the wheel for really good grip on that wheel, which I appreciate. Here, I've got some actual knobs. The knobs serve as both the adjustment for your heated seats as well as for your climate control, which I think is actually not bad. It helps reduce clutter a little bit down there, and that's cool. Plus, you've got a touch panel there as well. Which is, again, everyone's going to touch panel these days. So, you know, that's just the way to do it. It's cheaper and it reduces clutter. Really cool is the drive mode control, though. There's a little button here that says drive mode, and you think, well, you press this button, changes the mode, right? No. You press it, a little wheel comes out, and then you scroll through your drive modes, which is, you've got an off-road mode, eco, comfort, and dynamic. Now we're talking. I'm in comfort mode now because we're in the city of Vancouver. Like any North American city, it's got bumps, got raised manhole covers, big paint on the roads that have been painted over 1,000,000 times. So I want to go a little smoother, and it's not bad. The suspension is adaptive in this, so it will change depending on your drive mode, and it can read what's going on. I believe it's a hydraulic system for that, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it is. But it's doing okay. 21-inch wheels are standard. This is a press vehicle, and they like to do these to the 9s, do the OEMs. So I've got the 22-inch option. That's going to affect the ride a little bit. And I don't have summer performance tires, but I've got Pirelli Scorpion winter tires, which are about as performance-oriented a winter tire you can get this side of like a Hakkapeliitta or something along those lines. So that is going to affect the ride, obviously, a little bit. So you want to keep that in mind. This is a performance vehicle, and people buying these are happy to make certain sacrifices, like fuel economy, maybe like storage room, no third row, slightly harsher ride, all that kind of stuff, if it gets them that power and that performance, that panache, and most importantly, I don't know, most importantly, but very importantly when it comes to this, that sound. This is the sound of 567 furious ponies ripping their way through a quad exit exhaust system. And we're talking furious. We're talking riders on the storm level of furious. Jaguar, along with making stylish cars, we talked about in the intro, knows how to make stylishly loud cars too. That is amazing, that noise. I absolutely love it. Of course, it's got a button here that lets me have quieter exhaust, but nah, it's about as fun to me as an eco mode, so forget it. I think Jag is just having a laugh, or as the Brits might say, taking the piss of even offering, because even without the loud exhaust, like, it's not exactly quiet in here. We're gonna keep it loud, and we're gonna keep it furious, and this thing is quick. It somehow feels even faster than the numbers suggest. I think we say that a lot in the car world, but this one, it really does. I mean, 567 is a lot of power, but this feels like more than that. This feels, because it's a supercharged motor as opposed to a turbocharged motor, this feels almost electric in the way it handles its acceleration. Turbochargers still have to deal with lag. You still have to wait for that exhaust to kind of do its thing. With the supercharged, it's all mechanically driven, so it just goes at much more linear acceleration. Since I've got 8 very closely spaced ratios here, it really just takes the acceleration to another level, and it is fantastic. Honestly, I wasn't going to take this vehicle on this road I'm on now. This is a road I put a lot of performance vehicles on, some SUVs, not that many. I'm not a huge proponent of needing to put SUVs on this kind of road, but because it's so loud and because it has all that power, I really wanted to kind of give it the beans, and so that's what I'm doing right now, and I am so happy that I did. And now with the adaptive suspension, it's doing the handling thing so much better as well. Very little body roll through here. You can thank those very stiff tires for that as well, and grippy tires. Very low body roll through here. I wish there was a little more feel in the steering though. This steering it's got a good weight to it, but it just feels quite disconnected from what's going on ahead of me here. The steering wheel itself, the rim feeling as good as it does and all leathery and nice. I wish the actual feel kind of matched up to that. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's responsive enough, but it's to a point where you kind of have to trust that it's going to do what it's going to do. So, but get past that, and this thing is an absolute boatload of fun on these twisties. It is fantastic. Now, I know I said before that people buying a vehicle at this level, they're not going to care too much about fuel economy, and that's good because I'm going through a lot here. They might say they do, just like an OEM loves to publish its fuel economy figures even in its highest performance models. They might say that because they feel like it's right there to say, but really deep down inside, if they can get this kind of response from the throttle input, this kind of response from the car, and this speed, they'll be just fine with having to use the gas to do it. This is a fantastic car. It really is good. The F Pace sells a lot. It sells a lot for a reason. It's a very good platform. This one here just takes that, of course, to the next level. Man, I love a good V8 power vehicle of any kind. And this one sure as heck matches the promise of that big, huge powertrain. From the quick shifting transmission, oh yeah, to the quick responding engine and throttle. This has it all when it comes to a performance SUV. And who doesn't love that? This guy surely does, if you can't tell already. Oh man, what a lot of fun. Now, of course, Jaguar has said they're going fully electric with their rebranding and all that kind of stuff, and the 00 or the Type 00 concept and all that. But we'll see. The more of these manufacturers we talked before going back to V8 power, the more you might see of it. Maybe Jag will come to its senses and go, you know what? I like making loud engines. Let's make the electrics, but we know how to make an engine. Let's keep doing that for a little while longer. Hope they do. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to this quick look at the Jaguar F Pace SVR 575 edition. Hope you enjoyed it. For Vicarious Magazine, I'm senior editor Dan Heyman. Have a look at our website, vicariousmag.com, for all your performance SUV, performance car, motorcycle needs. Have a look at our emotion section for answers to your most pertinent EV-related questions. Got a lot of good stuff there. And stay tuned, of course, to the Vicarious YouTube channel. There's always fun new stuff going up on there, so have a look at that. Anyway, thanks again for tuning into this review. We'll see you guys soon.